All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, CJ.
Good morning.
So, yeah, welcome back to Talking Weather. I will give people a few minutes to log in. Like your background there. Um, Kind of groggy today, CJ. I got my flu shot yesterday
What you were saying.
and semi-annual physical. And good news is, doctor said I'm down like 11 pounds or something like that. So that's good.
That's
And
good.
most of my blood work really good. I got to get some vitamin D, he said, and good luck with that because uh, I am a vampire. I like it dark and
Right.
I don't get out very much, right? So
Yeah, no, I'm glad that I'm finally back in the warmth
yeah,
of Dixieland. Vitamin D is definitely one of our strong suits down here.
and
So,
too much of it. We're going to talk about that. You guys need
exactly.
some liquid sunshine, but we'll
We
get to
do.
that. But yeah, I'm feeling a little groggy today. I was like, I'm not going to do the pre-show with our patrons. I'm just lazy. So I kicked back and took a nap after I took the kids to school and
Right.
reserving the energy for today's show. It's Friday. The first Follow Friday is coming up a little later. It's so weird. By the way, this whole Zoom thing, CJ and I are going to work on some stuff over the weekend. Maybe we eventually use OBS. But like, I don't see myself. I don't, it's just weird. I see
Sometimes I
CJ
don't either. It's
full screen. Let's see what the view says speaker. I don't get it, but whatever, whatever. So, how was your trip up to Pennsylvania?
it was good. It was cold, but it was great to see some family, some friends, eat some good food. You know, all the hallmarks of heading back north. But man, that cold, it eats right through you. I always
Yeah,
say
well,
people should not live where the air can hurt your face.
right. I saw somebody say that one time. That was so funny. Why do I live where the air hurts
Air
my
hurts my
face?
face. Exactly. But it was definitely a novelty to see the snow, to be there for another winter weather system.
Yeah.
Actually be able to be on the ground as things were happening. Something I haven't gone through personally in almost 10 years. So it was neat to kind of be back in that element again.
Well, it's good to have you back and in Florida, Florida man
Yeah,
weather in Florida.
sure.
So, on today's Talking Weather, we'll go over the usual with a look at national weather and some radar and some of our cams. Did not get the freezing precipitation in Cary, so probably not going to see much slipping and sliding on the camera up there at my son's apartment. And when I show you the flight aware, you
Oh,
guys
I can
guess which
imagine
city
PC's having a
today.
good day.
Yeah, which city today? Take a guess at which city today is having the worst misery on FlightAware. I'll show you that. We're going to talk about something because I'm a big film guy. Just looking at my tabs, it's right down the middle. Has very little to do with weather except when there's a weather-related movie that comes out. But we are going to talk about something very big in the entertainment world. I just figured why not throw that in there. It's my show. I can do what I want, right? And
Exactly.
then, of course, we'll look at the forecast out to the next 7 days, the rumors of storms, and then our follow Friday will come in at 11 a.m. Eastern, and we'll show you reveal all, and you'll see who that is. And we might. Oh, it's ironic as heck. Yeah, so there we go. No might. It's not going to happen today. Oh my gosh, the timing on that could not have been better. We are going to hear on Monday, I can at least tell you who it is now, from my friend Shay Gibson, who works with Tempest Weather, has a big Facebook following, kiteboarding weather down in Charleston. And he and I are going to discuss on Monday contrails. So I was going to do it today, but he had some last minute stuff that came up that is more important than this. Believe me, and usually that means it's family. So that's always more important than our jobs and our little show here. So we'll have Shay on Monday. We're going to talk about contrails, and yeah, that should be really interesting. So look forward to that on Monday. But we will wrap up today's show at 11 with our first Follow Friday. All right, so national weather map. Oh, let's get the telestrator going, and let's see which colors to use today. I guess we'll use the old red. There we are. All right, so starting in the west, some fog in the valley, freezing temperatures in southeast Arizona, miserable weather, but expected in the Pacific Northwest.
Right.
CJ, anytime you see all that green in there, you know that's got to be related to precip of some kind,
Yeah.
probably,
The most
usually
miserable
rain.
weather on the planet, 40 degrees and rain.
Right. But boy, it is beautiful up that way. You ever been to the
Yep.
Pacific Northwest?
No, but it is on the bucket list.
Yep.
Something that me and my fiance definitely want to do is go explore the Cascades. I've heard nothing but amazing things from people that have went out there.
Yeah.
Um, it's like America's little worst kept secret, I guess, in terms of
Right.
natural beauty.
It is terrific up here, all through this region into Hawaii. Come on, Mark. Alaska. I told you, I got my flu shot.
Right.
The Alaska Panhandle, British Columbia. It's like rainforest
Yep.
ish. Yesterday I said rainforest e like an adjective. Anyway, winter storm warnings through parts of the Rockies, and probably winter storm watch here in North Dakota. All this is expected with the Arctic front that's going to be coming through. Then we've got these winter weather advisories through parts of the interior mid-Atlantic, and that's a good place to kind of start and zoom in just a little bit here. And we'll take a look at the radar in just a moment as well. So, winter weather advisory, just light snow. CJ, that like replaced some other traveler's advisory, right? Didn't that replace traveler's advisory?
I think so. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, the
I
winter
think.
weather advisory has been around for a while now, but it's, I wish they would just kind of replace it with something else because I know it confuses a lot of people. Um, but yeah, in this area today, I mean, they're just not having a good morning in terms of the morning commute, especially in and around the nation's capital. I've been seeing some, just posts, some videos of snow out of Reagan Airport, Baltimore, all the way over into the Delmarva in southern New Jersey, even.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's
28
just,
degrees up there right now. National Weather Service office,
yep,
Baltimore, Washington, and some light snow around. We'll look at the radar scope here. This is my neck of the woods down in Wilmington, and it's just chilly and quite miserable. And truth be told, after we finish today's show, I very well may go back and go to sleep some more.
that
Just
is
be
good
totally
sleeping
lazy
weather.
today. It's what
Yep,
can I say? But
I
look,
peeked
moving up
through that
north, there's all
yesterday.
the impings, all the snowflakes, and
Yep.
yeah, it's pretty busy up there from the reports. Let's look at Raleigh and their radar. Maybe look at here in North Carolina, the northern counties near Danville, Virginia, some reports of some snow. Cary is located like right in here where my son's camera is. We'll look at that in a minute, but it is not freezing there. And if we scooch even farther to the north, we can take a look at KLWX. And now, you know as well as I do, that's what snow looks like on the regular
Yep.
reflectivity. It's got that sort of loose, diffuse look. You know, snow
Yep.
just has a certain look on radar, doesn't it?
It does. It looks very like it's airbrushed, is
Yes.
the way
Way
that
to
I
go,
describe it.
CJ.
Like an
Yes, like it's
airbrush.
airbrushed.
Um,
Nice. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. I stole that
yeah,
from CJ.
but
So
it
let's
is.
put
I
this
mean,
into motion.
and I'll tell you, Mark, I've been to DC in the winter, even when it's bitterly cold. That's some good National Mall walking weather.
Oh
If you've
yeah.
never been, if you're in the nation's capital this time of year, if you're in, you're just vacationing, you're visiting relatives in DC, go enjoy the snowfall on the National Mall. It is absolutely gorgeous to see the monuments coated in white, especially at night. But you're going to want to bundle up.
I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stall for a second and open another tab. To that end, let's go YouTube. Everything is slow today with YouTube. Like my YouTube is just jammed shut. What is the deal with that? Are they having issues? Like I just opened a YouTube tab because I want to pull something up from my trip to that area this past winter. I click on YouTube and no bueno. Did Netflix buy YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Story for it's coming up. We're going to discuss that later on. I can't get YouTube to pull up, so oh well. I was going to show you all some 360 footage that I took from that area this past winter. But look, I'll show you. I'm going to go in here and I click on YouTube and we wait, and it's just squares and circles and lines.
That's so odd. It's not doing that for me.
Oh well. Let's see, check on the chat real quick. Hi, everybody. Feathery, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I do like
Um,
that.
Feathery and airbrush. But yeah, my YouTube is clearly having issues. Glad I'm not like depending on showing something off of YouTube today. Anyway, as CJ was saying, yes, the snow up there can be quite pretty in the nation's capital area, but not so fun to drive in and
No.
around and through and all that stuff. But that's what it looks like on the radar there. Lots of MPing reports. CJ, what is an MPing report? It's like crowdsourced what?
Well, I think so. If you click on that, are those actually MPings or are those still train spotter reports from RadarScope Pro? Okay, so those are actually you're not seeing MPings, you're seeing those are real spotter reports
Gotcha.
from the
Okay.
National Weather
But
Service.
this
But
says public.
MPing, just to kind of explain it real quick, RadarScope kind of implemented this with the National Weather Service, and I think a couple of other weather radar apps have it now. It's basically the way to give ground truth. So, you can go in and actually say, yeah, it's raining here, or it's hailing, or there's a tornado, or whatever.
Right.
It's, crowdsourced ground truth is the best way to describe it. It's not exactly a spotter report, but, it's close, but
Yeah.
it definitely helps when you're out there, in the field, for sure.
Some
So
of these
it
will say public though. That's Kokoros. This one is National Weather Service employee.
if you zoom in
This
on
one's
DC, there
public.
is a trained spotter report from
Yeah, that's
this was
quite a
at
few.
9:46 Eastern time this morning out
Yep.
of Arlington, and that was 1.4 inches.
Yep. Yep. Cool. That's neat. I think you did a couple of these for tornadoes cited or something this past season with us, right?
Yeah, I do. Whenever, even here, whenever I can, I try to make sure that I'm giving them the ground truth. I am a spotter. Skywarn spotter is a lot of us chasers are, so it's nice to give the weather service that ground truth for sure.
Well, here's the culprit, man. This deep fetch of moisture out of the East Pack,
Yep.
riding up and over the colder, denser air. And there you go. It is just
See
like
that?
a
There's that
weird pattern. It's
subtropical jet.
Yeah, it's very El Nino-ish. I think you said that in a
It
text to
is,
me
yeah.
yesterday, but we are in La Nina, so go figure.
Yeah.
But we just don't have the big dynamic push. The flow is generally kind of like this instead of truly longitudinal.
Yeah, it's
So the
definitely
two are not able
horizontal.
to phase and mix up, right? So we just have this sort of Seattle-like weather everywhere.
Yeah, it is really strange that, across the southeast, there's not a lot of, even though on the other side of, what's your temperature there in Wilmington, Mark? Probably in the lower 40s, upper 40s, 50s.
Let's take a look. That's a great question. It is the answer 45 degrees.
And over here on the other side of that, we're at 76 this morning. So, there is a very stark cutoff there. I flew through that yesterday, and man,
Yeah.
it was a bumpy ride, but once we punched through that other side, the skies cleared, everything cleared out pretty quickly.
Yeah, a good chunk of this peninsula of Florida is clear today. Maybe some high clouds
Mhm.
passing over the resort areas, but look at that boundary right there in the
Yep.
Gulf. That's really neat. So if you're sitting on a boat or an oil rig sitting out here looking back this way, that must be a really cool look to the clouds. And with the availability, especially now of Starlink, it is not going to be too long that we're going to have somebody tag us and say, "Yeah, here's the view." And it's going to be some guy named Dan or Ralph or something out on an oil rig in real time. And by the way, let's stop it right there. This is overnight. Check that out, CJ. You can see the loop current
Oh
on
yeah,
the
you can.
infrared
Wow, look at
satellite
that.
here. The warmer waters of the Gulf showing up there. That's really neat. Very sensitive satellite view. All right, tracking map. Let's take a look around our camera network and let's see how quickly the Nest cams respond today and how much ad-libbing I have to do. I got to go replace all these with our new gadget cams.
Yes.
Nest has been good, but this delay here, like, why? Come on,
I
Google. Maybe
yeah,
that explains why YouTube isn't working. Oh, there it is.
there it is.
Finally. So this
Oh,
is
okay.
Bruno's place up in Annette Island, Alaska, and that is a weather station right there.
Oh, wow.
And who's calling me from an unknown caller ID? I'm not answering that.
Hmm.
That's like Russian roulette there. You get on, hello. They're gonna have to just leave a voicemail. Sorry. Especially when it's no caller ID. Are you kidding? Anyway, sorry, I probably should put the phone away, but I use it to look at the YouTube chat. Yesterday, CJ, this was all foggy and whatever,
Yep.
and it just begged of like everything from a bear to a wolf or maybe Sasquatch to just dart across the shot, but
Wow.
no such luck. Anyway, let's move south, check out Pahrump, Nevada. I asked Paul if he could go and tweak the view as we wait for it to come up here and make it so it wasn't as crooked. Come on, Google and Nest, what are you doing? Hello, McFly? Anybody there?
It's weird because it is showing like, it's there. It doesn't
Right.
want to show us the video.
Da-da. Finally.
There it
All
is.
right. So yeah, Paul
Those
said he'll get out
mountains.
here and straighten the horizon back out for me. I sent him a picture yesterday and I said, "You guys good out there, or have all your dishes slid to the right?" And he thought that was
Maybe that's the earthquake that they
there
were
you go.
talking about yesterday.
Right. Yeah, I think the wind actually knocked it off kilter.
Right.
This camera's been up for several years. I
Right.
think this might be, oh man, just trying to see who that is. This camera's been, I think, 6 years sitting out here. Anyway, that is Mount Charleston right there. It looks like, what happened to you, CJ? It says no webcam available, or is that me or what? Maybe CJ dropped off.
No, I'm here. I think that's
What
you.
is going on? The gremlins have invaded my computer. No webcam available. Oh, I think I hit the wrong. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
there it goes.
Anyway, that's Mount Charleston right there, and it's got snow on the top of it. They have Lee Canyon Ski Resort near there, and I have been skiing there when I lived in Las Vegas in the 80s.
And that is the beautiful powdery snow that everybody wants for skiing.
Yep, can be. Dude, these cams loading slow. That is just annoying. Trying to pull these up. Let's see if we can get Black Forest. Come on, somebody. One of you react immediately for me. Thank you. Whoa! Look at
Oh,
that
there you
snow
go.
cover. Nice. Very, very good. So this is our camera at Black Forest. Pikes Peak is sitting right over here off the
I was
screen.
about to say, hold on, there's some mountains over there. Wasn't sure what that was.
Yep. And I got to reset the shot because you can crop and whatever on these Nest cams.
Right.
And I got to widen it out and slide it over a little bit. So let's see if Matt's will come up. I didn't even know they had snow up there. Look at that
There
in
they go.
Parker. Oh, yeah, finally some snow in the Denver area. I guess that would explain if we go back to the national map some of these winter storm warnings in and
Yep, for
around.
the mountains.
Yep. How
Great for the
about
ski
that?
resorts.
Indeed. Um, Moving on, let's see how our cam in Weatherford, Texas is doing. Is doing. And
Maybe.
it's not. So, oh well. How about
Listen.
Carrie? My newest camera at my son's apartment. Oh boy, oh boy. I pay $200 a year for this Nest stuff. There we
Oh,
go.
wow, look at that. That is a great view.
Yep. So this is from my son's apartment. Luckily for the commuters there, it is not frozen precip. It's just regular light rain. But the time will come, CJ, that they will have a winter storm in that area, and I can kill the cam. Let me just show you where this is roughly. So we're talking the northern part of North Carolina, and they
Right.
get a lot more wintry weather up here than I do down here in Wilmington, obviously. So it is just a matter of time before we do get some snow and ice up there and the shenanigans
Hmm.
that will ensue at this major intersection there
Right.
in the Cary area. And we'll probably pump this out live just on a separate YouTube feed and put some like, watching for the crashes or whatever. And it'd be a crash cam. How about the Outer Banks, where our good friend Brad lives? This camera is dead. I'm going to go fix it on the 13th. That's next Saturday.
Oh, nice.
These cameras, they did well for me yesterday, and now, oh, there we go. This one finally popped
Oh,
up.
look at that.
So the Atlantic, kind of dreary. Let's see the south facing. If the There we
You
go.
know,
One
those
of the south
fences there
facing.
in that camera shot, that's what I think of when I think of an East Coast beach. Anywhere along our East Coast, from Maine to Florida, you see those same wood slat fences.
Yep, sand fences to trap it, build it
Yep.
up until the ocean comes in, rolls right over it like there's nobody there
There.
with the overwash. Yeah, it's all good until it doesn't work. All right, so flight aware time. Dude, whatever's going on here in Detroit,
Ooh.
bad.
Yeah, Delta
Just laugh.
customers are not, Delta's not having a good day. We got DC that's having problems and Detroit.
But what's
Ugh.
going on in Detroit? Because there's not much weather
Yeah,
there.
I don't know.
Let's look at the radar. So you know what, by the way, just a little trivia thing to CJ, do you know what the T means instead of the K?
Yes, I do. That would be a terminal Doppler.
Exactly. It's a little bit lower power, whatever, but it's still
Yeah.
Doppler radar, but
And
not
that's what
official
gets
National
you
Weather Service.
right. And that's what gets you. That's you're actually, you have some, you always have a meteorologist on staff, usually at one of these airports. And that's what they use to make sure that the planes come in and out safely.
Right.
But
So
yeah, I
no
mean,
weather
there's
in and
no
around
weather
Detroit.
of significance. I wonder if there's fog.
Well, let's check it out. That's what I like about this format. We can investigate. So let's get over here. No, look at
No.
this. So Detroit roughly in here, right
Well,
there.
you're
Hazardous weather outlook, 22 and fair. Hmm. Interesting. Anybody that's familiar with the airline situation in our country, let me look on the YouTube chat. What do you guys think's going on in Detroit for the misery index to be so horrible? Network outage at Detroit. Thank you. So Kathy down in Fernandina to the rescue with information, a network outage. So it's
okay.
technical.
Yep.
Sorry, Detroit, and people trying to fly out of
That's
there.
horrible. And that's one of
Canceled.
Delta's main hubs, so that's
29
not
of them
fun.
canceled. Yikes.
Uh-oh.
How about DC? What's happening there? Delayed 160. No canceled. That's good. The New York City area, which covers LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. And four canceled, 70 delayed. Where else is it kind of gnarly? Atlanta. So did you have to go through Atlanta or were you nonstop?
No, I fly out of through Atlanta. If you fly Delta anywhere in the southeast, chances are you're laying over in Atlanta. But yeah, Atlanta yesterday, smooth right through. I was surprised even with the rain and weather over central and south Georgia.
Right?
No issues. It was bumpy going in and coming out, but otherwise
Dude,
okay.
so come on in, Cat. I mean, seriously. This is Willow, and it can be problematic because they knock stuff over, just like she's doing now. So I've got this USB powered air blower that I use to
Right.
clean the desk or whatever. And when the cat just starts to get on my nerves, all I gotta do is turn it on just a little bit, and she's gone.
Yep. Instead of the
Sorry,
spray bottle.
Willow. You're not a guest today. Eventually, all right? We'll have a cat day and everybody can show their cat. Uh-oh, that's the wrong. You get in trouble with that.
Exactly.
Um, anyway, no, Willow, you're not on today. Sorry. You have to go down and see Penelope. Leave us alone. We're trying to do something here. Anyway, Detroit's the misery spot for today. Thank you, Kathy down in Fernandina, for setting me straight there. Technical issues. All right, so yesterday, 88 degrees, Florida back in the winter circle. It was Texas the day before. 88 degrees, 17 miles east of, and how do you say that?
I
Okapi?
honestly have no idea. I'm gonna say
It's got to be
Ochapi.
CH hard. Ka.
Yeah, I'm
Okapi.
assuming it's a ch. Most of our CHs down here are like that. I gotta see where this place is.
Ochapi or Okapi? You guys tell me in the chat. Hey, I don't know
It's
everything.
Collier. So that's basically the next little something from Everglades City if you're on 41.
Right. So yeah, let me know on the YouTube there. Is it Ochapi or Okapi? You're probably
which
right. It
is,
is like Okeechobee. It's probably
yeah, that's
Ochopee.
usually it's cha, but who
Right. I'm
knows?
overthinking it. Because in Louisiana, it's just like you have
You have
Natchitoches,
no idea what it would
and
be in
it's right. It is
Louisiana.
spelled something like Nacogdoches or something,
And
whatever. You
it's
know what I mean? It's
Natchitoches
like
or whatever.
exactly. Oh boy. So down in Florida, it is exactly as it says, Ochopee.
Okay.
Overcome. Anyway, 88 degrees near Ochopee, Florida. Minus 27. You gotta love it. 2 miles south of Brimson, Minnesota.
Wow.
Yeah, minus 27. That is just come on. Who can minus 4 in parts of the eastern U.S., right? And
Right.
but minus 27, I don't know how people do it. I really don't. Talk about your face hurting. I think
Yeah.
everything would hurt with something like that.
Ugh.
Yuck. Anyway, so there's your stats for yesterday. Dude, this was really cool. I had to show this because it is weather related. Give this man his diploma
Oh,
now. Look at that. Go full screen.
interesting.
Yeah, that is using 100% of your brain power to keep the
Yeah, it
flood
is.
water off the sneakers. Oh,
It
that
gave me
is
some ideas.
fantastic. That is great. I mean, that is just a great, great idea. I
Hmm.
have to remember that when we're out in the field, we can use it to blow spiders and snakes and
Mhm.
scorpions away and clear a path.
So
I
you
saw
got
that.
one of everything. I'm the arachnophobe, and then Matt hates snakes.
Right. So I don't hate spiders, but they definitely give me the creeps.
Mhm.
But as much as I am, in this weather business and I've been in hurricanes and we go storm chasing and whatever, just like a cat, I hate being wet. I hate
Right.
it. It is just a miserable feeling. And anytime I get out, we got rain and gook and snow, whatever. That is a
Yep.
great idea. Having to carry around a battery powered leaf blower. May have
Yeah.
to add that to the arsenal to keep a path clear and keep the boots and the shoes from getting wet.
Right.
Pretty innovative. All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour, roughly, plus a few minutes. Too darn noisy. Yeah, it would be pretty noisy. So Scott in Columbia says it's Ochopee.
Oh, choppy. Got it.
Yep. I hope
That's what I
that man's
figured.
name was
I've never been that way.
right.
But
That's
wow, I
Dan
mean, think
Summers.
about it. That's almost 90 degrees down in Southwest Florida, and then you
Yeah, I love
have
it. I'll
the
take it.
northern part of the state raining and in the 40s.
Right. Well, you got a big state down there. I mean,
Yeah,
I always joke that from Pensacola to Jacksonville is 700 miles.
it is. It's miserable. It's the most boring drive on the planet next to Alligator Alley.
It's getting there. Actually, there's a place from Vegas up to somewhere in Nevada is, I think, literally called the loneliest road in
I was about
America.
to say, yeah, I've heard that before. What is it? US 50,
Something
52 or
like that.
something?
Scott will probably know, our living encyclopedia and Google guy.
Yeah,
And that's a compliment. That is very much a compliment.
true.
He knows it all too well. But anyway, great idea there. And Scott mentions that he really hopes the guy's name is Moses.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well
Oh,
done, sir. Well done.
I like
Bro
that.
needs his Harvard diploma. You're not kidding. All right, what's next? Look at this. I talked about it yesterday. Snow squalls.
Mm.
Dangerous, but
Yeah.
really cool to see in time lapse. I love it that people do this stuff from universities to just dudes that work in office buildings that set their iPhone up for an hour, whatever. Adrian down at Adrian's Weather in Miami, not far from you. I showed his
Yep.
the other day. Snow squall there, CJ, and there you go. That's what they look
Yep.
like.
Yeah, and those snow squalls, they can be very dangerous. I'm glad that the National Weather Service came out with some sort of warning for those with
Right.
the new snow squall warnings.
It's its
It's
own
something
thing.
that we had talked about, for years. We didn't have a term for it living
Right.
there, but they can drop your visibility down to near whiteout conditions, especially in the lake effect bands coming off the
Right.
lake.
Right. And you get that Arctic front that pushes through,
Yep.
and you just enough of these little localized areas of instability, whatever the cape is, that just enough to trigger these. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like winter's version of a little mini derecho. I mean, it's
Yep.
not the same, but you think about it, it does have a brief period of a gust of wind and whatnot.
Yep.
But the visibility drop is what is so concerning because then you can end up with big time pileups
Oh
on
yeah.
highways, interstates, whatever. And we see more and more of those as of late. So that's a video there of a snow squall occurring. Let me unmaximize the screen. So this was from the University of Albany. And hey, Willow, you're back.
Yeah.
And from the campus there, the E-Tech building.
Wow.
Um, Pretty awesome. And that's what the radar looked like as it was coming through, by the way.
Oh wow.
I love this, that people that know how to link it all together. And there you go. So that's a real life example of a snow squall. And here's a good shot of somebody enjoying the snow. Is he eating it? I don't know about
He
that.
licked it.
Mmm, lots of fiber in that snow. I tell you. All right, so real quick, not weather related, but this is a big, big deal.
Yeah.
Netflix looking to buy the Warner Brothers, HBO, whole whatever,
I believe
and
that
that
includes
is
Discovery.
yes, the Discovery. Yeah, like wow,
A
and
huge link up of honestly some of the what I would call the big three in streaming right now, for me at least personally, that's all I watch is HBO or HBO Max or
right.
Discovery or Netflix.
So this is a big deal, and
Mhm.
we'll see. It still has to get through some hurdles, including the Department of Justice, I think, to make sure it's not too monopoly-ish,
Yeah,
whatever, too much of a monopoly. But this would
right.
be a really big deal for those who like streaming and movies. I'm a big movie guy in the theater. That's my scene right there. That's what I like. I like to go see them in the theater with a lot of people to get everybody's reaction. Some people don't. Some people are comfortable chilling on the sofa, watching it on their iPhone. But can you imagine seriously watching Interstellar on your iPhone? Like, that's
Right.
just horrible. Really? Come on. Anyway, people do. And hey, it's your choice. That's fine. I'm not the gatekeeper of how you enjoy your entertainment, but this is a big deal. That'll be interesting to follow to see where this goes. So, when's the last
That's
time
gonna
you've
be
been to a
interesting.
theater, CJ? I'll put you on the spot.
I'm sorry.
When's the last time you've been to a theater? I'll put you on the spot.
Oh, when I saw Twisters.
There
And
you
but
go.
that
I was getting
wasn't
ready to say, I
I don't
hope it
know if
was
I'd
Twisters.
consider that a theater. We have a
Exactly.
Cinebistro here in Sarasota, so
Right.
for my birthday that year, my fiance got us tickets and we enjoyed a very good meal while we watched the movie. So, but
Right.
that,
And we did the
and
same
I
up
like
here.
stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
normally go to the theater like just a regular movie theater. That's typically if I'm gonna go see something, I'll do something like that.
It's like a tentpole movie, as they call it, a really big blockbuster made for the screen type movie.
Yeah.
I
Something
gotcha.
like a Star Wars or,
Right.
yeah, that kind of deal.
Right. Well, when we saw Twisters up here, it was
Hmm.
during what we called the Great Gathering, where we had
Yeah,
Cornelius and Clemens was here, Jesse came
right.
down, and we were all working on everything for the what was that? That was 23, right?
Three, yeah. 23? Yeah,
Or 24. I don't even
one
remember.
of the
That's
two.
sad.
24. No, it would have been 24,
Really?
I think.
Hey Siri, when did Twisters come out?
Twisters was released on July 19th, 2024.
Oh,
Thank you
wow.
very much. Wow.
So yeah,
Man,
that was a year ago.
I can't even remember. Like
Mm-mm.
that was so 23, of course, was Oppenheimer. I should have
Yeah,
remembered
that was
from
the
that.
Barbenheimer summer.
Yes, of course. Anyway, saw Twisters at the IMAX theater here, and so this will be a really interesting thing to see what happens if
Right.
Netflix gets hold of HBO and whatever, and what. So we'll see. And any new weather-related movies there. Now it's tied into the weather, but I thought I'd bring that up because entertainment. I mean, YouTube is where people consume the most video on a
Right.
daily basis, from shorts to long form or shows like this or whatever. So this will be curious to follow. All right, forecast timeout over the next 7 days. GFS, and I might take a look at the euro. We'll see. That's more for the long range stuff. Global forecast system, operational model, 6Z run. Let's move it out to the next 7 days. A few of those little clipper impulses. You can see one right there.
Yeah, you
Those
have
move
one today
through.
moving through.
Generally innocuous, not too big of a deal. No big storms. Are out at 4 days, and then it jumps to 12Z right in the middle of the show. There we go. So let's try again. Um, Pacific Northwest, though, I got to get out here for one of these one day. There's a
Yeah, we had
gentleman out
talked about
here
that.
named Matthew Fab, I think, Pfab. I think his name's Matthew, Jonathan or Matthew. If I remembered, I'm sorry. I got my flu shot yesterday. Anyway, there's this dude out there that's really into it, and he does YouTube videos and whatnot. And I got to come out there sometime when one of these big bomb storms comes into the
Yep.
Pacific Northwest and see what that's all about. But you got to get there early because if you fly in like a day ahead of time or whatever, you don't have time to recuperate from the time changes and the jet lag and all that. And then this big storm comes in, so there's a timing issue. You got to figure it out. But I do want to do that sometime before I hang up my hat many years down the road. So stay tuned. Another Clipper system at day 5 coming through the Lakes region.
Yep.
It's really odd to see green on there, CJ, meaning it's liquid.
Yeah.
I figure by
Interesting.
December 10th it would be enough to keep everything frozen, but apparently not. Finally, out to day 6 and 7. I mean, honestly, the next week generally a benign weather pattern for the lower 48 in terms of
Yep.
any big, widespread, blockbuster storms.
Yeah.
So we'll see if there's anything brewing beyond this time frame when we get to um, the rumors of storms segment. So we shall see. Not much happening over the next week, just pretty much confined to the northern tier states with a fairly active subtropical jet. But it looks like that gets out of here for the most part after the next few days, which you need the rain down there. So let me jump on the Twitter
Yeah, we
real
do.
quick. Um, I don't know if I bookmarked it. I can't remember. I don't think I did. So let me find it. Where did you find that? Can you drop a link to that tweet you sent me about the drought in our Discord for me, or just tell me the Twitter
Mike
site that it was
Gagliardi.
on?
Just a quick update there. Hold on, I will throw it in the Discord back end though. There it is. But yeah, we need the rain. And it's not even just Florida, it's the entire southeast. It's really been having, a very at least Alabama, Georgia, Florida. We've been, it's really that tri-state area that's really have had an issue, but yeah, most of the state is in some form of drought or another. Um and it's a problem. As we go into this El Nino or La Nina winter, we're gonna see a lot more of that red and dark red start to show up. And as Mike points out there, I mean, this is our worst drought in at least 13 years. The last big drought that we had was, I want to say 2010, 2011. Not lasted for a couple of years.
Whoops. I'm trying to send our guy Shay a text, and I said, looking forward to it, and I put a question mark. Looking forward to it? See, I was trying to do something while you were talking, and I screwed myself up. So then I had to send another one with an exclamation point. What a world we live in where you have to justify your inflection.
Right.
So yes, you sent me this earlier in a text, and I thought it was important to talk about because we have all this rain up to the north. But yes, parts of Florida in severe drought, and this La Nina pattern does not help that. But as we transition maybe towards a warmer INSO event, but I think that's going to take a few months, really. I've seen some people on a
Mhm.
Twitter chat that I'm part of talking about that, that it might be a little longer transitioning over towards a warm INSO or El Nino. So this drought situation could worsen. And then, of course, you have the potential as things really dry out for wildfires.
Yep.
So
And that's, I
Florida's
think, what
worst
we're going to
drought
see.
in 13 years.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see, especially as we get into the spring months and things start heating back up in March and April. You're going to see some real big issues. Luckily, a lot of this rain from that subtropical jet that's up there, it's really dumping on the worst of it right now up in the Panhandle near Tallahassee, in Jackson counties, up there along the Georgia and Alabama border. But, we need rain, and we've had I think we are locally in, I think we're about a little over a foot below normal for the year.
Yeah, not much moving through the panhandle today, just a little bit of a line there. Some convective activity actually on I-10. Just drove through here the other day on the way back from Pensacola, and I know that route very well. Hurricane Michael, of course, came right up through pretty much that exact line right there. The
Yeah.
irony. But yeah, they need some rainfall down that way. That is for sure. Checking on the YouTube chat. See how it's going here with everybody. You triggered my Siri. I saw Twisters 2 days earlier in Oxford on my birthday. That's our friend Spooky.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's why I call Siri Larry sometimes when I have to do an example. I'll say, "Hey Larry, what's the weather?" Because you'll do that and you trip all sorts of people's Siris.
Right.
Um, Space Camp is my guilty pleasure. I've never heard of Space Camp. Have to
Hmm.
have to look that one up. Um, just checking to see what we got. I love The Naked Gun, Back to the Future, and the Jason Bourne films, as well as
There's Back to the
Airplane and
Future.
Miracle on 34th Street. All right, Catherine Burkett, a movie fan. What do they call those folks? Like cinephiles?
I don't
You have
know.
audiophiles and cinephiles. Very, very good. I like
Maybe a
that.
cinephile, yeah.
Cool. All right, so what's next? Let's take a look here. As I jump up to my tabs at the top of the hour, we will introduce our first Follow Friday. So let's go ahead and do the rumors of storms. Let me kill a couple of windows here to make sure we don't overdo the resources on this fine computer. So we looked at it the next 7 days, and there doesn't appear to be much that will trigger the algorithm where you see one of these posts of some gargantuan
Hmm.
massive winter storm, and in hurricane season, it could be some category 4 parked off of X metropolitan area. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
It's those rumors of storms, right? And the algorithm picks that up and it floods around the internet through Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Is there anything else? Have I left anything out? Um, and it usually has no context. And it gets a lot of people worried. And then I start getting emails and texts. And did you see this? Is this going to happen? So we try to get ahead of it. But it's wintertime. We don't have to worry about hurricanes right now. We just looked at the 7 days in front of us. Let's go out beyond that time frame. And again, this is the 6Z run from this morning. So here we
Right.
are at day 7. What about down the road from there? Well, not much overall. In fact, as we go out to hour 270, we're getting close to almost a blank weather map for the lower 48. That's as close as you can get to, everybody at Fox Weather just take the day off.
Right.
Look at that, CJ. Now, will
Yeah.
that happen? That's the opposite of
Yeah.
hyping a big storm. There's some lake effect bands, and that's about
Right.
it. Some stuff just sprinkling into the Appalachians. But, dude, northwest flow abounds, very cold. In fact,
Hmm.
let's look at the temperatures that day. Oh, very cold. But
Mm-mm.
where's the storms? There's not what's missing? Why aren't we getting a major storm system with that kind of a temperature profile? What's your thoughts?
I honestly am not sure. I don't know if it has something to do with a lack of moisture, or if it's the specific northwest flow, because you would think with that kind of a temperature gradient, especially over Florida, that there
Right.
should be some kind of kinematic, setup that should trigger stuff. But I mean, even that, that you can see an Arctic front there, it's really not much.
Look at that thickness line at
Yeah.
492. Like, good grief. Very cold air aloft. In fact, let's look at the 850 millibar
Look at that
temperature anomalies.
1055 millibar high. Ooh.
Woo! Look at how cold it is at 5,000 feet. This is the anomaly. We're talking minus 20 way up at 5,000 feet. So a
Mm-mm.
very cold air mass forecast for about 10 days from now plus, but no storms really following that. So we'll see.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So moving on out and just green. Of course, I think I switched it over. Hang on. I screwed it up. Let's go to this way. There we go. Oh, sorry, 12Z. We got to do the show later so we can just get the 12Z in all the way. Anyway, so 270 hours. There was just not much there. And oh, look, there's some snow showers in my neck of the woods. I call BS on that.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, if this came to fruition at 288 hours, our global numerical models would be godlike, right? Like
Right.
if it could predict it down. But verbatim on overnight hours, Tuesday into Wednesday on the 17th of December, snow showers in eastern North Carolina. So set your clocks now. Get up and make sure you don't miss it.
Hmm.
Hardy har. Lake effect, or I'm sorry, ocean effect snow on the backside. This looks like a brutal air mass, but just not much in the way of storminess over the next 2 weeks. That is really weird to see.
It
Very
is. It's very
cold,
odd for December.
right, and just not much storminess at all. But again, let's look at those temperatures and that anomaly, back it out to the current, and just look at those chunks of air coming down, a little bit of a warm spell. Oh, finally, maybe some warmth. And then it's like the bottom drops out, that huge chunk of Arctic air coming down
Look at that.
on the GFS. So let's see if the Euro agrees, and we'll at least look at the temperatures. This goes out, I got to do the 0Z, sorry, to get out to that time frame. Let's see if the Euro has something similar at hour 270. And it does. So there's agreement that it's going to be cold as bleep in the east around the 16th or 17th of December. So
Right.
those bigger puzzle pieces seem to be in place. We just don't have a big storm on the heels or whatever. And then it kind of tries to warm up after that.
Yeah, it
So,
almost looks like a quick polar vortex. Ugh.
right.
Just, it's cold.
You're just going to stay in Florida, I guess. All
Ugh.
right. I want to see, though, as we're waiting for the top of the hour, it's only 6 minutes. If I can get YouTube to pull up. So I do want to show that DC snow. It's not going to do it, is it? Something, my YouTube is just broken. So after the show, I'll do a restart of the computer and we'll see if we can fix everything. I know what I can do, though. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and we do have our first Follow Friday coming. I already looked at the Euro, so we'll do that. And it's also time, coincidentally, for checking in with Jen, who, just spoiler alert, will be our first Follow Friday. And she is actually at a conference. So we're going to check in with her in just a few minutes. She's going to jump on our Zoom. In fact, I
Awesome.
got to check and see if she's already there. She's at a very interesting conference, if I can get this to work. All right, there we are. It's like a national digital weather network conference over in Tennessee, and I
Cool.
think Span is there. I think I know Ryan Hall. He's speaking, I think, at the top of the hour at 11 or noon or something like that. There is so is she Central Time where she's going to be? I don't know. She's going to join us in a few minutes, and we'll find out all the details. But Jen runs
Right.
Tornado Talk. You know enough about the Tornado Talk because you've had more conversations with Jen than
Yes.
I have. Give us the spiel, please, CJ.
The Tornado Talk started, I believe Jen started a podcast back in the early to mid 2010s, that had, kind of took off something of its own. They had taken a hiatus, and now what they are known for is their virtual tornado memorial project. You see that up there. They really consolidate a lot of the tornado history that Grizulis has researched, all these tornadoes going back to like the 1600s, and they're trying to go back through and actually document the victims, their lives, their families, so that way they're not forgotten. These events like that. Good example, that Corey, PA tornado from May 31st, 1985. That outbreak was huge for the region of the country I just came from. Um, and, we don't want to forget about these events. So that's what
Right.
her and her team are doing. And now she's traveling the country, really doing a lot of this research that hasn't been done before. They're a great team over there. I absolutely love, chiming in. They're very welcoming. very good friends of the channel.
Absolutely. And she's very active on Weather Brains as well with
Very.
Span and Company. And I'm going to be on, I think, 17th or the 18th, kind of recapping 2025 and talking about our new show here and what we hope to do with it over the coming years. Um, and she will be joining us in just a few minutes from the conference area up there. And so I think checking in with Jen, we know it's going to be Tennessee, but I'm not sure exactly which city she'll be able to tell us in just a few minutes. But this is the
Right.
website and a lot of great historical information. And she is basically a nomad right now, and she'll tell us more about her story when she jumps on. But as CJ was talking about, it is important. You know, we've got a lot of data on hurricanes, but the tornadoes just not quite as much that's consolidated in
Right.
one kind of a database or one clearinghouse, if you will. And Jen and some of her colleagues and people that help fund it through Patreon are helping to do that. So we're going to check in with her once a week on her travels. She'll be in a new area and she'll tell us what she is doing. She'll be joining us here, hopefully, through the magic of Zoom in just a few moments. Anything else on your mind, CJ, before we catch up with our mutual tornado aficionado?
No, just defrosting still to this day, to this moment.
Did the Ford F-150 handle okay up there?
I'm sorry.
Did your F-150 handle okay?
Oh yeah, no, it was that honestly, I'm glad. I'm very happy with it. I will say I'm not a big fan of Ford trucks, but
There
you
goes
know,
the sponsorship deal. Damn it. Just kidding.
nah, that F-150, man, even, the big thing we have in Western Pennsylvania that a lot of these other cities that get these types of events is terrain.
Right.
And it handled the hills just fine. We watched a lot of cars spin out, trying to get onto the highway during their morning commute. And, even some of the SUVs, that four-wheel drive, man,
Oh yeah, people think I'm in a big truck, I'm in an SUV, I can handle all this. Like you're just not going to defeat the laws of physics.
no, that or, the laws of the road.
Right, right. Jen says she's got the link. She's
Awesome.
getting into a room. I told her if you have to go to the women's bathroom and just sit in a stall, that's acceptable because she's at a conference and it can be kind of loud. Anyway, she got a chuckle out of that. She'll be with us in just a moment. We should play the theme to Jeopardy.
Right. Oh, you
But
can show
yeah,
a couple of the photos that I took while I was up there. I know that we came on the other day in the midst of the storm. But I gotta get some I gotta get time to edit some of the photos
right.
that I actually took while I was up there.
Understood. While we're waiting for Jen, let me show a real quick photo from our side. CJ, thank you for setting up on the Discord server. Now, if I can just find it,
Right
there it
above you.
is.
There it is.
This is from Catherine Burkett, and this is a nice, almost live shot from the UK. Also included, appropriately enough, is the contrail from KLM Airbus A330. Wow, Catherine knows her planes. There's a contrail up there. We're going to talk about that on Monday. So this is what it looks like in the UK not too long ago. Thank you, Catherine. And CJ, thank you for setting that up. That's really nice. We have a nice little part of our Discord where we can show stuff like that. All right, let's get in Jen Naramore as she enters the Zoom universe. Waiting for
Jen,
her
did you
mic
make
and
it?
camera. There she
There she
is.
is.
She's not in the bathroom. She made it into a regular room. Hallelujah.
Hi guys, how are
You're
you?
the first Follow Friday of our show, and welcome to Talking Weather. Time is of the essence for you, so
Right.
introduce yourself. We did a little bit, and tell us where you are, why you're there, what Tornado Talk is all about, and this conference that you're at, please.
I drove yesterday from Ohio 7 hours down to Loretto, Tennessee, Lawrenceburg area for the National Digital Meteorology Conference. And Tornado Talk is here. I'm doing a speech tomorrow talking about our new project, creating a virtual tornado memorial. And this idea was actually sparked last summer at a little brainstorm session with Ben Luna, who is the owner of Tennessee Valley Weather. And he's the one who is spearheaded this whole network of digital meteorologists. I mean, they're popping up everywhere.
There
And we
you
have
are. Lawrenceburg, right?
That's right. Yeah, Lawrenceburg, and then we're at the at a resort down in Loretto, and it's really amazing here. It's called the Keystone Resort, and this is where we're having this conference. So Tennessee Valley
Terrific.
Weather crew here. We've got the crew from Matt Laubin, who has the New Mississippi Network. We've got NorCal Network. I mean, all these folks are here. Barron Weather. A lot of these folks who are launching these digital networks are using the Barron system,
Yeah,
and it's amazing what they're
sure.
doing here. So little old me is here to talk about the virtual tornado memorial. And Ben Luna, we kind of talked about this last summer. Where's Tornado Talk going? What are we doing? We've been doing all this writing and research, but we need a purpose. And after kind of brainstorming some stuff with him, and I made my way to Murphy, North Carolina last summer to do a tornado talk to talk about the April 3rd and 4th super outbreak, and met a couple, and they lost a 2-year-old, they lost an unborn baby, and then Frank Blair lost his mom. And they had never shared their story in 50 years. And it really resonated with me, and that they entrusted me. They have not ever shared their story. And so from that, we realized that there's this, I think, a need to remember
Yeah.
and remember these amazing stories. And it's not just the stories of the fatalities, but hero stories.
Mhm.
There are angels that live among us that help each other, community rebuilding. And how do we remember? And so we can, as meteorologists and weather communicators, we're always tracking tornadoes, right?
Yeah.
Tornadoes
Yeah.
means we're fascinated with this science, with the event itself. But on the other side of it, there are people that have lost everything. They have lost family members, they've lost their home, they've lost their roof, their
Yeah. In
business,
some cases, entire communities
entire communities are
close
gone.
to it. Yeah.
So how can we honor these folks and tell their story? And so that's what I'm hoping with this talk, that I'll really get a chance to introduce this project to a lot of folks in the digital platform.
Right.
Tornado Talk is Patreon supported. We have a small crew of 2. It's
Yeah.
me and Zach Reichel is my partner in this project. He is here with me today, and he's going to kind of help, spearhead this conversation. And we need crowdsource folks. All right, I'm trying to get Ben Luna on here.
Your toast is ready or something.
Yeah. I'll keep talking. I really would like Ben to come up here because I want him to describe a little bit more.
Right.
He's very passionate about what's going on with the digital platforms. This does not mean that the legacy TV has gone bye-bye.
Right. Right.
We still need our TV folks, but we also have people consuming stuff differently, like us.
Oh, absolutely.
We're on YouTube right now doing this live show.
Right. Right.
There are people who are wanting to look at their forecasts on their app or their social media, and they could care less if they had a television. So how do we, expand upon that? How do we get into markets like Tennessee Valley, where,
Right.
in this particular crew, who covers them? Nashville, Northern
Right.
Mississippi, Huntsville, how are they covered? So they're covering a niche that of people are like, well, you forgot about us. So anyway, it's my hope that maybe I can spread the word about what we're doing, and that some of these folks that we're talking to may want to partner with us. Maybe I could get,
Sure.
get a little spot on their network, and they
Right.
can spread the word about what we're doing, and we can
Right.
get
And that cross-pollination is important, and the collaboration,
Very.
very, very important. And you think about how digital weather has gone. Anytime I'm watching Fox Weather, it's on my Samsung TV Plus. I do not have traditional cable. I don't have
Yeah.
satellite with Dish or whatever. And so you look at Fox Weather as an example, and it talks about all the places to watch. In the days of the Weather Channel, I remembered it was on Channel 41 on Time Warner Cable, and that was it. And so, again, as Fox Weather as an example, there's a giant list of all the different places you can catch them, including YouTube. And you look at how Ryan Hall has grown, and you look at how other people in the weather field, Max Velocity, and then break it down to the individual and sometimes pairs like Bryce and Paige of Storm Chasers. And it is just this incredible spider web. Again, the World Wide Web makes perfect sense. So it's great that there is this conference to talk about it. And, we have Alabama's Weather Network now that Span and Bill Murray and others have ventured to start. I've been on YouTube since '06. and have done most of my bigger stuff in the last 10 years. First 10 years, I didn't even really know what I had. I kind of regret that now because I could have been a million subscribers by now, but it's not about the total numbers. It's about who you reach and the quality of the content and your community. And in some cases, to bring it home, you only need a few hundred people to support what you're doing, and you can make a career out of it. It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. It really is. We have amazing Patreon supporters. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
huge. I still support myself. So for those who don't know, I don't have a house. I got rid of my house
But
in
there's a
August.
reason, right?
There is a reason. No, I became
Right.
a nomad for a reason. Oh, I've got somebody. Before I talk about nomad, I want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk.
yeah.
Let me get Ben Luna in here. Ben,
Hello.
Ben,
we're on
hey,
with Mark
thanks for joining in.
and
Thank
Steve.
you.
Mark just started a brand new live show this week, Talking Weather with Mark Sadeth, and where there's a weekly segment with me. Where's
Yep.
Jen? She
Yeah,
got showing up from wherever. And I wanted to get Ben in here real quick since I'm coming from this
please.
conference. If you want to sit for a
Yeah,
minute,
sure.
Ben. I kind of gave an overview of why we're here, but I mean, this is your baby. I mean, this is a big deal.
And I'm trying not to have a dirty diaper.
I
So,
like that. Good
uh-huh.
sense of humor right off the bat.
Yeah, what a way to lead in. Um,
But I
no,
get your point.
it can. Anything worth doing is hard work.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's the way that I was raised. And putting together a conference to draw people in from, I think we've got 22 states represented here.
Amazing.
Canada was going to join us. They some travel issues prevented them from being here today, but they're going to be joining by internet feed here in about
Mhm.
5 minutes. So we named it the 2025 National Digital Meteorology Conference, but it's an international effort
Sure.
of meteorologists in communities, big and small, a lot of small communities that want to make a difference in their hometowns, their areas of delivering extremely local weather
Yeah.
information.
Yes.
This is a gathering that is actually about 40 people bigger than what we had planned for,
Right.
um, which is a great thing.
Congrats.
Don't
Yeah.
get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Congratulations.
But we are, we're almost at a capacity crowd with what's been set up for downstairs,
Right.
and it's changing the landscape. It's empowering and giving these people the ability to, I guess, grow not just as a Met, but as a person to
Sure.
reconnect with their local communities and actually become local business owners.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's the magic, the secret sauce that's happening right below our feet from where Jen and I are talking to y'all from.
That is terrific. That is great. You know, you think
Yes.
about, as we were talking about earlier, all the different people that have come up on digital completely. You know, Mike's weather page, hugely popular, especially in Florida. And then you look at just other realms of science. You know, there's this Space Flight Now, NASA Space Flight Now, that is made up of these, and I say this very much with respect. You know, I think this word can be used very fluidly in our community. These space geeks, space nerds, whatever, and dude, they are killing it.
They
They
are.
shoot
I
these
follow them. I
tweets.
see their
Yeah, you know
content every
exactly
day.
what I'm talking about. And now
Yes.
they have a staff and they have tons of funding and they are doing exactly what they love and they're getting more and more people into rocketry and space launches, either from SpaceX or NASA and even international. And the weather community has been the same for a good 20 years or so. When we started doing live streaming way back in 2005 and it started taking off, but now with so many people on a smartphone or a smart TV, like I said, I watch Fox Weather on Samsung TV Plus or whatever it's called. I don't have cable television. I have
Right.
AT&T fiber, and that's my world. So this is a great thing to see happening. Now, why'd you choose that part of Tennessee, if you don't mind me asking? Is it
Born and raised.
easy to get to? You live there or what?
Yeah, I'm from here.
Gotcha.
I was 4 years old when I decided that I wanted to grow up and do what the guy on TV was doing.
Yep.
And I didn't understand it, didn't know what it was, but I thought that that looked neat. And yeah, I was hooked. I was a news junkie from then on.
Right.
And terrified of storms. About age 7, I was like, what if I learned about the storms and maybe I wouldn't be so afraid of them.
Right.
And I did. And I think my parents were giving a high level of praise when I said at that age, I'd like to go to the library and check out books. And they
Right.
were like, "What? Really? Okay." And so I
Same.
did that when I was 12. My home county, where we're here, we're in the south end of this county, but
Mhm.
on the north end, Tennessee's only F5 tornado moved straight through here. And Jen can tell you all about that, but it
Yeah, I was
was
gonna say.
F5. And that solidified it. I thought, yeah, I'm in. I went to work at 14 in local radio. And I guess I'm 25 years in this year. And worked in radio through high school, through college. Got my first TV job in Huntsville and did that for 3 years. Went back to radio as the GM and did that until our community was struck by an unwarned EF1. And that was in 2020. And
Wow.
that's when we said, okay, people need a new way of receiving weather information, of seeing the content and in a hyper local way.
Right.
And that was in February. In April, we launched. We've been able to fundraise. We have our own, uh, the little radar that could, as we call it. We have a little X band,
Right.
a dual pole X band. Um, and yeah, we operate with the Barron platform, and you know we saw this as just an effort to serve our community, and then others started calling and saying, "Hey, we want to do what you do." And when there were like four of us, we said, "What if we kept this conversation going?"
Yeah.
And we became a network, an
That's
affiliation
terrific.
network. And now there are 16 members.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
14 of them are represented downstairs today. Couple of them couldn't make it this time of year with family obligations, fully
Right.
understand that, but
Right.
we've got a great showing of those people, and not just others that want to do what we're doing, but others who are already established broadcast meteorologists at legacy TV stations who've said, "Hey, I want to come here and just learn how to make my digital presence better."
Yeah.
Because at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, everybody is on social media first.
Right.
And in that mindset, that's how the consumer consumes weather information. So,
Well,
yeah,
Ben, let me jump in. That brings up an interesting
yeah,
point. Everybody's social media and they're online. So there's this is all the bright side. The dark side is algorithmically based misinformation or just a deterministic model shown, shared by a 9-year-old or 89-year-old. And it gets everybody fired up from a big blizzard that's coming to a super outbreak of tornadoes or a Cat 5 hurricane off Houston. Is there anything in this conference, and how do we address that? You know, SPAN has been just on this crusade for a long time against all of that. We have a segment each day called Rumors of Storms. I heard it through the algorithm, where we try to get ahead of that and spot something before people see it in the algorithm. That this, you know, there's obviously purposeful misinformation, and you know, you're never going to shut that down. But is there any kind of a concerted effort to do more? This is an example. On Monday, I'm going to have Shay Gibson on from Charleston, and we're going to talk about contrails. And we're just going to be very straightforward about it. Not
yeah,
trying to combat the chemtrail people because you're never going to change their mind, but
yeah,
just what is a contrail? How does it actually form?
yeah.
So instead of burning people down and making fun of them or whatever, I wanted to approach it from a different way, much like Neil deGrasse Tyson does with astrophysics. So how is that working into this new digital? Because there's that terrible side of the internet too, of course.
Um, it works this way, and it is direct one-on-one communication from your followers to the man or woman that is the weather figurehead of a community, the local meteorologist, because we have messages on our platform to me seeing people at the grocery store to say, "Hey, I saw so and so on the internet talking about this massive snowstorm in 180 days,
Yes.
and what's the truth? What's really going to
Right.
happen?" And I think establishing yourself as the trusted go-to person and explaining to other people in your space to say, "Hey, look, there's this that we're seeing. It's, you know, everybody sees that,
Yeah,
and
it's
there's
out there.
yeah,
Right.
it's out there, but yeah, we're not worried about that right now.
Right.
And there's about a 99.999% chance that that's going to go away in the next 6 hours in terms
Exactly.
of model runs. But at the end of the day, you establish yourself as the trusted adult in the room,
Hmm.
and you let the kindergartners play. And when you need to speak up, you
Yeah.
say, you put your foot down, social media speaking, and
Right.
say, hey, this is how it's gonna be.
Right.
Right.
But you have to establish that trust. And I think that's where the answer to this whole thing is being the trusted person. Because yeah, as long as the internet's going to be around and the freedom of speech with people, they can say and do whatever they want to.
Exactly. Right.
Unfortunately, just picks up, but somebody's got to be the adult in the room with it. And I think
Right.
that's how you combat it.
That's awesome.
CJ, your thoughts on that?
No, I think you really hit the nail on the head there, Ben. You want to make sure that when you're speaking up as a communicator, that people listen. You don't want to get drowned out, but at the same time, you don't want to be screaming from the hilltops either, because then you get the boy who cried wolf
Right.
eventually. And I think that that's stuff that, you talk about the legacy Mets that are coming in, like Matt Laubon, like James Spann, that really have that respect already. And it does. It helps, you know, point people in the right direction. I think they're two great examples of it, especially, you know, um, serving the Southeast, where we've had a problem for years with communicating severe weather risks. It's a big deal. And I think that, what you guys are doing, myself, I didn't finish my degree because I said, well, I don't want to go into broadcast. I don't want to go live in, you know, some small television
Right.
market making pennies on the dollar, waiting 50 years, for a chief media, or, you work your
Yeah.
way up, and then I was just explaining this to somebody the other day. You have to wait either until somebody dies or retires to take a chief position. And this allows you that flexibility to, you can sometimes serve your community where you grew up, like you're serving
Right.
an area that was underserved, whether it's, the air quote forgot about, or,
Yeah.
something like that. And I know that's something James Spann has always really advocated for, was, really trying to, serve those underserved communities that, you don't really hear too much about on TV.
And I think this is the perfect stage to do that from.
I agree.
Um, and you touched on a topic that's also important to me, and that's education.
Mhm.
And I think the weather or meteorology educational community needs to get a jolt, or, for no pun intended, maybe a little lightning strike there to say, hey, look, education has evolved um, in this whole thing over the years. And I think that we have the ability to influence that as well, to say maybe we need to relook at that and say, are more certification programs, are those more important as opposed to traditional degrees for this?
Right.
Right.
Um, because I think those are much more obtainable and much more doable for people, because you
Right.
do have to factor in cost and time that it takes, and people are not very patient anyway.
No.
Right.
So I think that's something else that will eventually come out of this, because we have a university that's going to be attending and talking tomorrow about um, their efforts to build, and I quote, a digital meteorology program.
Terrific.
Interesting.
And it's
That's
going to be a
awesome.
certificate, not a full
Yeah.
degree.
Right.
And
Its
so I
time
think,
has come.
yes, but and I'll tell you something else real fast. You touched on a topic that we've had here. Long story short, our business evolved. We started doing local sports in addition to this, and between weather and our sports staff, we have 12 employees.
Nice.
And so, for those who are in an entrepreneurial spirit, it grows to doing more than just weather.
Yeah.
And you become a local CTV station, connected television station
Right.
for the community. So the
Agreed.
future's bright. Mostly sunny skies ahead.
So, Jen, while you're in the area, are you doing any work on a particular tornado, or are you just there for the conference?
No,
And then,
just, yeah, just for the conference because I've got my speech tomorrow.
right.
May or may not still be buttoning up. No,
Yeah.
it might be a late night for me, but no, I've got all these ideas in my mind, and it's just there's not enough time in the day. But I'm buttoning up my speech, and my goal tomorrow with this speech is to talk about tornadoes, obviously,
Right.
but to transition into who are we serving? It's the
Right.
people.
Yeah.
And, we all, we get, attracted to, oh, there's tornadoes going on. We're all looking at radar scope. We're all looking at the chasers or what have you, but there's someone on the other end of the tornado. And that's what I
Right.
talk about and see how, we can possibly get some support for what we're doing, crowdsource support. So I appreciate Ben just giving me the opportunity to share what we're doing and what I know you got to probably sneak.
Yep, I do.
But thank
Yep.
you for being
But
here.
thank y'all
Yeah.
for the opportunity.
Thanks for making
Luck
the
with
time to
this.
come over, man.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure.
Thank
I'll
you.
see
Nice
you.
to meet you. Good luck with everything.
You're the keynote tomorrow, aren't you?
Okay, no, I'm not
No
gonna
pressure.
sleep at
It's all
all.
good.
No
Pressure,
pressure.
not the
Everything's
It'll be-
keynote, no.
It'll be fine.
Gotta just not talk for more than 30 minutes, so it's gotta keep it short, but no, Ben's great. He's an amazing person and just a humble guy, and he is a pastor at 2 little Methodist churches in the
Mm.
area. I actually
Awesome.
went to one of his services a couple of months ago. He's an amazing person, but, being a nomad and getting to go do whatever,
Yeah.
I'm excited to be able to do this segment with you each week, Mark. Sometimes I will be on the road, sometimes I will
Right.
be possibly at my mom's, and I'll be
Sure.
coming live from the barn. I don't know, she's got a couple of
Awesome.
horses, so you'll get to meet, the horses and
Perfect.
the barn cat, but the goal is just to kind of let folks know what we're doing, and I really want to try to, bring in folks that we can talk to that maybe survived a tornado or want
Right.
to talk about something that happened in their community. So I'm excited to see what each week holds. But yeah, the conference is pretty neat here. I'm very excited and
Great.
blessed to be here. So
Digital weather. I mean, it's here, and
The thing.
it is definitely a thing. And it's remarkable how it's grown over the years. And some people have grown more than others, but the fact that you can do it, I just heard the other day from a gentleman in Australia. I'm gonna try to find his email so I can tell you exactly who he is. Where are you, buddy? So it is from Weather West Watchers, reporting severe weather data chasing since 1999. And this is down in Australia. I can't see if I can figure out where he said he was from. Anyway, his name is Tom Marsh, and he's trying to develop sort of this digital weather thing in Australia, like we're doing up here. And he wanted some advice about it. Let me look at the first email from him. Um, Looks like he's just in Boston recently. And anyway, point is, from what Ben was talking about, Canada, this guy from Australia, we know we have quite a few people that watch us from the UK. And Brazil, we have Marcel, who will be joining us at some point, and when he's not fixing stained glass windows, to talk about severe weather in Brazil. Obviously, global weather is a thing, and it's amazing that anybody with a connection can now be a part of it. And I know this has been around a long time. I mean, my goodness, we started it 20 years ago,
Yep.
with Hurricane Katrina. But look at how far it's come in those 20 years with people that can do what we do and other people do. And it's just a tiny part of the internet, weather.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much as you brought it up, there is the dark side of the internet. And I think that what I like is that, folks like you and what we're doing and what Ben's doing and all these digital platforms, they're trying to make a difference in a positive way.
Right.
And
Yes.
that will outweigh the crap that we have to
Right.
endure, and
I
people will see
agree.
the difference. I think that it's light will always shine much brighter than the darkness. So it's just trying to tip the scale back into the positive, I think.
Sure. And I think as I thought about talking about misinformation and algorithmically based hype forecast or whatever, that I don't want it to ever evolve into that I am some kind of a gatekeeper instead of or in lieu of. And again, I use Neil deGrasse Tyson as a great example of this. And others before him, the late great Carl Sagan, and Steve Irwin, who we lost unfortunately to a freak accident. Just educate. You don't have to act like you're better than everybody else. Just educate. Just be you while, sort of sleight of hand dialing down that misinformation. And so getting in front of the algorithm and talking about something that might be coming up, especially during hurricane season, which is my forte. But Jen, you know as well as I do, CJ too, once we get into the spring, we're going to see these posts of, man, this could be another super outbreak. Is it going to be another April 27th? And then
Oklahoma's
you have
gonna
to get out in front of
fly.
that because that triggers people. But then there's
Yeah.
that balance. Like I said, I don't want to act like I said, a gatekeeper, like I am some superior. And I think Span has just had enough of it over the years that he doesn't have any more F's to give. So he just goes after people head on.
Yeah. He says
Because
he
it
doesn't have
is,
any, yeah, no more feelings left to hurt.
right
He
there.
says
That's the F I was thinking of. Exactly. Feelings.
feelings, exactly.
Right. No,
No
it's
more
it's
F
the
to
truth.
give. It's feelings, right? Yeah. But this is really neat that this thing is happening. I'm glad you got invited, and apparently you're the keynote.
Apparently, I just found that out. No, I, uh, I am excited to do this, and I'll be more excited when the speech is ready. But see, because I'm like you, Mark. You like to create videos and audio. I am the same way, and
Yeah.
there's something about being able just to put that together without me speaking, to let the
Right.
images speak for themselves. And so I got this wild hair this week to try to do that for the beginning part of my talk and the
Right.
end
There
to
you
try.
go.
Right.
And so that's what I've been trying to button up, and I got all these ideas in my mind. And then the words will come.
Sure.
I'm very passionate. Obviously, I'm very passionate about this project. If I sold my house to devote my life to this.
Yeah.
Um, and as I was mentioning before, I'll just say briefly for folks who don't know, I'm a radio broadcaster. That's how I support myself. Tornado Talk is Patreon supported, and we're always looking for that support. And I am always looking for people to share their stories. And so you can write to me at memorial@tornadotalk.com. That is our main memorial email address. If you have questions about our project, if you have questions about or you have information that you want to share about a tornado, we're also creating a Google form that people can just submit the information, and it makes it much easier. Like CJ, who gave me a bunch of information
Yeah.
on Florida tornadoes, and that way he can put it all in one spot, and we can grab it and put
Exactly.
it into our different databases. This project is huge, and it's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. There's so many nuances that I'll continue to share each week about how it works.
Right.
Gathering data is just part of it, but then you got to do something with it. You need to map it. You need to write the stories. You need to confirm everything, because I do not want to put out information that
Right.
is and
Right.
and then you have to network. And what I'm really bad about is marketing myself. I'm very
Yes.
bad about it, and because I'm not
Yeah, I
trying to
don't
make
like selling
money.
myself. I'm like,
I'm
but
awful.
you have
I'm
to, or you can't fund it, or whatever. And
Right.
that's an interesting balance too. That's
It
why
is.
sometimes I let the weather sort of sell us itself. But like this year, we didn't have any hurricanes at the U.S., and so there's not as much interest. But I think, oh well, there will eventually be again, and we'll be ready for it because we do have a great core community, and you do what you love, and you stay honest
Smart.
about it, and don't change for the sake of trying to fit in some mold that
Right.
become something else. I'm not going to act a certain way. CJ, I tell you, I'm the same here and in the field and on camera as I am when we're off camera, having our dinner
Exactly.
somewhere at a Texas Roadhouse. I don't become somebody else. It's just take it or leave it. The internet's so big
Yeah.
that most people that are passionate about whatever they're doing, you think about Patreon, I mean, they've got thousands and thousands and thousands of creators from everything. I'm gonna try to just rattle it off: knitting to lizard raising to there's a guy that does snakes. You have anime, you have poetry, music, weather, filmmaking, podcasts of all different kinds, and each of them has their own community that supports them.
Yeah.
Again, what an amazing world that we live in where you can do that, that you don't have to just rely on, as CJ was talking about, moving through the ranks, that you're in, you know, I'll just make some place up, Blankville, Northern United States. I don't want to pick on, hey, why'd you pick on my community? You know what I mean? You don't have to start off
Right.
in, northern U.S. with 1,200 people in the market to eventually make it to Miami when
Right.
you are 55 to be the chief meteorologist.
Right.
That's a big reason why I didn't want to get into TV weather. I was accepted at Mississippi State for broadcast meteorology and NC State for regular, traditional hard meteorology. Not that Mississippi State isn't, but they train you to be a broadcaster as
Right.
well. And NC State was more not that. I mean, it's changed, but anyway. And I was like, no, I don't want to be inside a TV station. I don't want to be in a weather service office because I will be the guy that'll be fired because I'll be looking out at the weather instead of reporting on it.
Right.
So that's why I went into geography. Making this too much about me, but yes, it's interesting how we can follow our own paths and you have enough people that'll support it that it works is the
Mhm.
point. So congrats to you and much continued success with it and to Ben and that effort up there. So we'll have you on next week. Any hints as to which state maybe?
It'll be Ohio for sure.
I gotcha. All right.
I'm back in Ohio, so I'm thinking I might show up at the barn. Let's
All
just
right.
we'll just do a little chitty chat from the barn, and maybe I'll look ahead to the tornado history for the week, and
Yeah.
I'll have an event we can talk through that we've already done research on, and kind of go through that. There are tornadoes every single day you can look
Yeah.
at for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
In fact, next week we may want to look at the big Mayfield event.
But I was just
Yeah,
thinking
let's
2021.
let's talk about that. So maybe I'll
Agreed.
kind of around the 10th, I'll hop on and let's talk through the 'cause I was looking at some of the stories today, and I have with my crew, we created probably one of the most important summaries we've ever written, is on the website about, we call it the immeasurable cost,
There you
and
go.
all about that outbreak. And it's kind of the basis of what the memorial is going to be. So we talked a little bit about the tornado, and then we ended up writing over 90, it felt like 90 obituaries.
Right.
We found every single fatality and we wrote their story. And if we had their photo, we brought it in. If
Right.
not, we tried to find them on Find a Grave and find their headstone. And
Sure.
so one of the most, so I'll send you that link, but I think
Okay.
we'll talk about that and remember.
All right. Very good. So what's happening at the conference today? What's up next there? You Ryan Hall's at the top of the hour, you said, or something?
He was supposed to be, I think he's still coming in. They had to do some shuffling. He got stuck in Eastern Kentucky and because of some of the weather issues up that way. So he was,
Irony at its best.
I know, exactly. So I think he's still coming in, last I heard. But yeah, we already had a speaker from Barron Weather talking about their link system, which I do a little side gig with the Alabama Weather Network. So I've used their system. It's pretty slick.
Nice.
I've
And
heard
so,
that.
yeah, they talked about that. And so there's going to have different speakers from some of the different weather networks throughout the day. And then it's continues all day tomorrow. It is a big deal here. So I'm excited. I'm just a little wheel.
Right. I'll tell y'all a quick Barron story as fast as I can here. 2004, one of our partners back then, it was Jesse, myself, and John Van Pelt, who died a few years ago. He ran stormstudy.com. Very energetic guy, very passionate about his work in severe weather, very good at getting sponsors and support from people. He was in marketing, that was his day job. So, of course, he was good at it. And he got Barron's to donate 3 mobile ThreatNet units to our team,
That's awesome.
and we all took them out on the Memorial Day tornado outbreak in 2004. And we went and
Yeah,
saw
it
the
was
day
in
after
Harper,
tomorrow,
Kansas.
opening weekend in Raleigh. And then we got on a plane at 5:30 the next morning, Saturday, flew out to Kansas City, rented a Subaru Outback. We had a couple of these units with us. Remember, this is just before the advent of widespread mobile broadband. We had Sprint, and they were a partner of ours, but it just wasn't everywhere like it pretty much is now. So we were going to use this mobile ThreatNet, which was over XM weather, and we went out there and we saw 5 tornadoes that day because of mobile ThreatNet.
Oh,
Yeah, he was in the Harper County, Kansas,
oh,
the
wow.
legendary '04
Flew home
outbreak
the
there
next
with all
day.
those beautiful tornadoes.
We talked about it on a few message boards that were around. That was our social media back then, and people were just furious they had been chasing for years. Never saw a tornado. We flew out, and it's basically radar scope if you think about it. Like we literally had, and I did a little video of it. It's on my YouTube somewhere. It is absolutely a riot to hear the raw, uncut excitement of the first tornado and Jesse and we got to go and you got to watch out for lightning or this. Like the raw version of it is just amazing. But we did it with Barron's Mobile Threat Net and more than 20 or 21 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's my Barron story.
That's cool. That's
It
awesome.
worked. And it would go, you are approaching a severe storm or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
what I remember from
Use
Barron's.
extreme caution.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yep. Well, have a good time at the rest of the conference, and your keynote will go just fine, I'm sure.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate
you know,
it.
get lots of good sleep, and that'll help as well. And
Yeah.
we'll catch up with you next week. And I'm gonna share the screen again real quick to remind folks. Not only is this our first segment of checking in with Jen, but you're also our first Follow Friday. So here you are, Tornado Talk on the Twitter and the website. If you haven't done it already, mark it down, tornadotalk.com. And you can follow along. Have you set your Patreon up so people can follow along for free as well?
Yep, they sure can.
Same
Yep.
as us. So you can follow along, and if you can become a sustaining member, as they say in public radio, do that as well, because we could all use as much support as we can get financially. So, she sold her house. You gotta, come on, help a lady out.
Thank
It's really nice of you to join in, and thank Ben again for us as well, please.
I sure will, guys. Have a great one. I'll see you
Have a
next
good one,
week.
Jen.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Very, very cool. She's going to be with us next year on a real tornado hunt.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that more as we get into 2026.
Gotta do
As
it.
this show evolves, CJ, I can see adding different segments.
Right.
Maybe once a week, there's like sort of they say in radio a lot, a newsmaker segment. I'd want to come up with my own name for it, where we literally have um, uh, somebody that talks about like in a, but not a long podcast, not like 2 hours, but
Right.
like what Ben did, where we get about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, half hour. And I like that aftermath part. Karen Pollock and us have talked about for a while of doing even just a podcast called After the After. So you've got
Yeah.
your aftermath, but then how about things after the aftermath, like the long-term effects
Yeah.
that would be interesting to do as well. So, as this show evolves and gradually builds a following, we might be able to do stuff like that. So it was nice to have Jen on.
Always a pleasure to speak with Jen. Absolutely love that there's that connection there, that she has been, great.
Speaking of tornadoes and severe weather, what's that picture in your background?
So that's from when we were in Texas this spring.
Gotcha.
That's that final day in Texas where we just rode up on all those guys. There wasn't anything out there.
Oh, yeah, that
Everybody was
day.
just around.
Yeah, we came
we
out
just
from
happened to look
whatever, and
up
there they
and
were. Right.
beautiful. And see, that's what this is about. And that's something, Jen and I have talked about too. And, that I know Ben talks about, that's what this is really about. It's marveling at Mother Nature at her rawest form. And, I think that and that's what I love about Tornado Talk, is they really bring that into perspective, because it's not just about chasing the tornadoes. It's like you
Right.
said, after the aftermath, you go through these communities that have been devastated, whether it's by flooding or a major hurricane or, a tornado. And those are real people. That's real tangible impacts that you're going to see for a generation or more in some cases.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today. Let me get back to the screen share and see what. Yeah, go back to my title screen. So next week, so this is Monday through Friday. Take the weekends off, and we're going to figure some things out over the weekend, a different intro and so forth, and just to make stuff run smoother. Probably eventually transition this over to using something other than Zoom, but not next week. It's going to take some time, but 5 of these in the can, and I appreciate everybody that has tuned in. That's, to me, just a handful of people or a million. I'm happy either way. It really is neat to be able to just talk about the weather, show you what I'm looking at on a daily basis myself, bring in a few odds and ends, things that I would see in my algorithmically based Twitter side or whatever. That's where that HBO, Warner Brothers, Netflix thing came from. The
Right.
dude with the leaf blower. Yeah, you just never know. So it's just nice to have other people interested in this, and we appreciate it. So thanks for tuning in, CJ. Thank you as well. I'm glad you had a good trip up there to Pennsylvania and back, and
Yes,
that
sir.
you weren't stuck any longer than you were because of
Yeah.
weather. And enjoy the warm weather down there in Southwest Florida. You make me jealous. It sucks up here.
Yeah. Well, we'll get
It
ours
is
soon enough.
indeed. All right. Well, that'll be it from us for today. I am Mark Sudduth. That's CJ Morgan. We'll have him come on every once in a while as well when his schedule permits. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you next
Great
week.
weekend, everybody.
Bye.